Hey guys, Denise here from Sewlimitless, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make these hanging towels. I use them in my kitchen. I hang them from the cabinet under the sink. So this one, as you can see, is well worn, but yeah, that's what today's little tutorial is all about. So as far as the supplies you need for this project, you'll need a hand towel. That's the size that I use because we're going to cut this, and you're actually going to end up with two at least. So you'll need a hand towel. I use quilting cotton, and I usually just buy a yard, but half yard should do for that, and some sort of bias tape or whatever you want to use for your ties. I generally use bias tape because that's something I always have. So those are your main supplies that you need. Of course, you will also need scissors and thread and a sewing machine. So now, before we start, I always pre-wash my fabrics or materials that I'm using. So I've pre-washed the towel and the cotton. I did actually press this after it came out of the dryer, but everything's already been pre-washed and dried, just like I would once it's used. So same temperature, whatever you would do, that's what I do before I start. So the first thing that I do, I'm going to cut this in half. This is the length of it here. I'm going to fold it over and just cut this in half. So now there's two pieces. You'll see one is going to have tassels and one is just going to be plain. I don't have a problem with that. Got both pieces here. Now, just to show you in more detail the one that I've actually completed already, this one, as you can see, I basically just did a 3-part fold, and that's how I got it to be this width. So I'm going to set this one aside for now, and I can cut that tag off in a few minutes, but fold this like this. And so now this is going to be the width of my hanging towel. Now the top of this measures about 5 inches wide by about 2.5 inches high. So what I've done on this one, you'll see there's a seam in the middle here. What I'll do is cut, because this is doubled over, so if it's 5, that means 10 inches, but giving a little bit, you want to add a little bit for your seam allowance. So let me cut this about 10.5 inches wide, and I'll do like 3 inches high. You can use scissors or a rotary cutter, whichever you prefer. It's important that you make sure that you stitch the towel into the top, because otherwise you don't want the towel to pull out. So you make sure that it's stitched at least across the bottom. I'm going to take the long edges and just press them down like 1/8 or 1/4 or whatever of an inch, just a narrow fold, just to encase the raw edge. I'm actually only going to press down one edge of the strip that I'm going to put on top, because when I sew it, I'm going to put this together and sew this side and sew across the top, and then I can just turn it inside or right side out. And so I don't really need to press that top edge, whatever the top edge is going to be. I don't need to press that down. So let me make that clear. So now it's time for sewing. So now I turn this right side out since I stitched these on. So now I've got my little ties here at the top. And now it's time to put this over the top of the towel. So now to just put this over, I basically am just going to stuff the towel into the top that I made, and I just try to keep it from getting too bunched up, and I want to make sure that it is flat as much as possible. This is the back side of the towel where the seam is, or the fold, the end is. And when I get it the way I want it, excuse me, I take some pins. I usually, for this, I like to use longer pins. So next I am going to top stitch here, because that's what's really going to secure the top to the towel. Make sure that that's secured there, and I also will stitch across the top as well. So I'll show you that. Now at this point you want to make sure you check the back, because it is thick. So if you want to make sure that you actually did stitch down on the back of the towel, of the top of this as well. So you want to make sure it's sewn on both the front and the back side. If it's not on the back side, you can undo the whole thing. I never do. I just stitch, turn it over, readjust everything, and then stitch the back. So that's what I do. Now at this point you are essentially done. If you do want to stitch across the top to really secure it even more, you can. Mine don't get really pulled on, so for me it's not that big of a deal. But if you want to go ahead and do top stitching across, make sure you catch the top of the towel in. Also, if you're going to do that, one thing I do is I tie or knot these ends of the ties. Since I'm using bias tape, I just knot these, and that's it. I'll put in a picture to show you what it looks like in action, but that's basically it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or if anything wasn't clear, let me know. But I think you all can get the idea as far as what it is to do. But yeah, I'll put in a picture so you can see what it looks like. I thank you for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you please, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye. Oh, one last thing. Now you still have your other half, and you can do the same thing. That's all you're going to do to the second half of your towel. Same process. You can use the same fabric if you like, or if you had different fabric or different color ties. It's all up to you how you want to do it. But that's it. Like I said, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.